Hey everybody, Daniel from Spacedock here. When you're watching this, it will have been May the 4th yesterday. Unfortunately, it didn't fall on a Spacedock upload day this year, but here we are on Revenge of the 5th, and it's a Friday, so here's my top 5 Sith Personal Starships. The Sith Meditation Sphere, as used by Naga Sadow, was a lightly armed ship 10 meters across in use during the Great Hyperspace War in 5000 BBY. The purpose of the sphere was to act as a conduit for battle meditation, a force technique that allowed an individual to influence an entire battlefield telepathically, boosting the stamina and morale of his own troops, whilst demoralizing the enemy and eroding their will to fight. The sphere's interior was filled with Sith artifacts and focusing relics, allowing the occupant to extend his will through the Force over great distances and effect any part of a large battle. As well as the spiritual artifacts, the sphere housed various command and control systems, including a large hollow screen displaying tactical information and informing the pilot of his minion's current status. On multiple occasions, a meditation sphere has turned the tide of a hopeless battle, with some Sith, such as Sadow himself, being able to create vast illusions in space to confuse enemy commanders and ensnare them in traps. Though Hadj Ventress was not a full Sith, she did serve as a Sith assassin and acolyte to Darth Tyrannus, and her advanced Jinnivex Fanblade starfighter only added to her effectiveness as a Dark Enforcer. Designed by the Geonosian Hoopla Parser shipyards, the Fanblade employs many of the same features as Count Dooku's Solar Sailor, but applied in a far more combat-focused configuration. The Fanblade's energy sail supplements its primary engines, rather than replacing them entirely, and allows the fighter to operate in two separate modes, either by folding the sail to create a smaller target, or extending it to provide greater engine and shield power, whilst increasing the size of the ship's silhouette. Only 6 Jinnivex Fanblades were ever assembled, and the ships were extremely expensive and difficult to replace, but most of those that were constructed were personally used by Hadj Ventress, whose aptitude with the Force only added to the starfighter's lethality. The TIE Advanced X-1 represents Sinar Systems' first foray into advanced space superiority fighters, featuring both a shield and a hyperdrive, and of the few prototypes that were produced, none were more famous than the X-1 piloted by Darth Vader, a ship that claimed the lives of countless rebel pilots, and achieved victory against steep odds on many occasions. Equipped with a pair of gimbaled laser cannons, layers of reinforced Durasteel armour, and a powerful cluster missile launcher, the X-1 was a formidable opponent in combat, able to match an Alliance X-Wing single-handedly, and endure far heavier damage than any existing TIE variant at the time of its development. Though the X-1 was not produced in great numbers, its design ultimately led to the development of the TIE Avenger and the TIE Defender, two of the most deadly and sophisticated starfighters of their time, and while Vader's X-1 was a highly uncommon model while in service, its endurance and interstellar range ultimately saved the Sith Lord's life in the wake of the Battle of Yavin. Darth Maul's Sith infiltrator, known as the Scimitar, was assembled from a heavily modified Republic Star Courier and outfitted to be the perfect vessel for a Sith assassin. Equipped with an incredibly rare Stygian crystal cloaking device, the ship was able to completely shield itself from both visual and technological detection, and should it find itself engaged in battle, the infiltrator was armed with 6 retractable solar ionization cannons, a viciously powerful energy weapon, illegal in Republic space, which could bypass some conventional shield systems entirely, and was known to melt through Durasteel plating on impact. Maul's ship was specially outfitted to assist in his role as a Sith Enforcer, and was loaded with 3 DRK-1 Dark Eye probe droids for target detection, as well as Maul's personal Razalon FC-20 speeder bike, the Bloodfin. The Scimitar carried Darth Maul to various missions and assignments throughout his career as the apprentice of Darth Sidious, and with its sophisticated concealment systems and cloaking technology, the vessel represented one of the few true stealth ships of its time. The Fury-class interceptor of the true Sith Empire was assigned to countless Sith across its service history. The Fury was built from the ground up to be a personal transport and pursuit vessel for members of the Sith Order. Armed with 4 precision laser cannons and an advanced cluster missile launcher, the Fury was able to serve in the role of a heavy starfighter, whilst also offering the range and utility to carry its Sith owner and their subjects to objectives across the galaxy. During the Great Galactic War, Furies piloted by lower higher-ranking Sith were often employed as elite units in crucial space battles, whilst other Sith used the vessels to pursue their own agendas with both efficiency and discretion. For the many years of its long career, the Fury was by far the most popular mode of transport for Sith Lords and apprentices, with ships of the class being used by many famous members of the Order, including Darth Nox, Darth Thanaton, and the Emperor's Wrath. But even as early as its first year of service, the ship's brutal effectiveness as a combat fighter had become obvious to most, being famously described by Darth Mekis as the hammer that will shatter the ribcage of the Republic.